Hi and welcome to this short L8MS Risk tutorial on how to produce PDF reports from your risk assessment. I've assumed as always that you're logged in, and here we're looking at the risk assessment open and getting ready to start. If you click on the print button, you'll see there's a list here of standard reports which are issued by L8MS. All the ones with only in the brackets on the end are subsections of the main report. So the two reports at the top here constitute, if you will, an amalgamation of various sections which I'll highlight, and when they're run you would get a composite of the sections below of the modules. The main difference between the full report and the all sections standard report is production of the complete survey report, the findings of the assessor when he's on site. Every question, every answer for every tank will be issued in the L8MS2 all sections standard report, whereas the full report is a more condensed version of a full report without the survey information, which makes it a heck of a lot smaller and a bit more concise, but would not necessarily be fully BS 8580 compliant. The report wouldn't in its own right, but it certainly gives you all the details that you need to see. If I was to drop in here, I'll show you some of the reports. So this report here is the first one on the list, the allocation. So this is the allocation only report. It's a pair of pages actually, but the last bit's nothing much. So that deals with which key individuals are on site and their allocation of tasks to those key individuals. So that's the allocation part of the report. The explanation is exactly that. It's an explanation of how we come to produce the figures that we produce for low, medium and high and immediate risk, if you will. So you can see there we work on a scale of 0, which is no appreciable risk at all, through to 4, which is a requirement to take immediate action, and there is a very significant risk. So that's the explanation, basically the explanation report, and the rest of the reports listed down here. The information part of the report is for details of the actual the site and who did the assessment and the scope of the assessment. So that's the information report. We also have the asset report. The asset report is exactly that. It's a list of the outlets that are on site. So if we're looking here, tea station, we have a water chiller, ground floor, basement 1, tea room, fed on system 101 mains cold water services, and any temperatures and things that have been taken or comments that have been made. If we can see here, hot water services return fault is a comment that's been added by the risk assessor. Okay, just dropping on through these reports, then we have a control scheme report, and that is the ongoing requirements that the assessor has identified, the ongoing monitoring requirements for flushing of infrequently used outlets and sentinel points, shower cleaning and chlorifier inspections and that sort of thing. And then we have a corrective action report. There are two of these which are actually basically more or less the same. This one is a list of all of the corrective actions that need to be undertaken, and a little box here where you can sign off and date that they've been completed, and they're listed in risk order. So that's a record of corrective actions, and that is actually the same as the corrective actions 2 report down here, although that actually has target dates that you can put in there as well, but otherwise it's ostensibly the same report. The executive summary is exactly that, a summary of the site and the water systems, the management, and the findings kind of summarized up into short number of bullet points and the total score for the site. So that's the exec summary report. The findings report is what tasks, what corrective actions were actually identified from the surveys. So it's a little bit of a condensed version of a survey report, where we only actually give you the information back where there was a fault. In this case, multiple pumps possibly acting as a dead leg. We don't know if they're alternated, so we're going to recommend that the pumps need changing over. But you can see here we've got question 3, question 7, we miss out the questions in between, and again actually the report is produced in priority order. So that's the findings report. Photos are probably self-explanatory. That's any photographs that have been added to the reporting system. And the surveys themselves, we've mentioned these already. This is a full list of all the questions that were answered in numerical order 1, 2, 3 for each item of equipment that's been inspected. And this particular one here, just off the bottom of the page, you can't see it, again if I scroll up, is 61 pages long. So it gives you some idea that the survey report adds quite significantly to the total loading, if you will, the total size of the risk assessment, and is not always needed by all clients. Down here we have the system ID report. The system ID section is basically defining what water systems exist on site, where their key items of plant are, and the key things that they feed, and any other comments like that. So that's the system ID report. And then, as I said, the reports then pull it together. This is the L8MS 2 all sections report, and it's the one I would expect you probably to want, one of the two reports, either the L8MS number 1 or number 2 reports. And these reports are full reports that run right through with all the information merged together into a final risk assessment with the executive summary and the comments. So they have all of the sections, or a number of the sections, that we've been looking through in them. So I hope that gives you some idea as to what all of the reports actually look like and the sections that build them up. And they are actually it is possible to build these reports up in specific orders that are personalized by each company. So you may have other reports available to you. I think at the top of this one here, if I just drop back to the list, I have an assessor review previous findings report, which actually helps me go and do another risk assessment, where I've defined the bits of a previous risk assessment that I want to print out so that I can go to site and do a review. But the ones starting with L8MS, they are all standard reports, and they will issue out as we've seen in the sections. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you, or make sure that you're aware of, we do put bookmarks in there. So for the big assessments, the large reports, you'll find that they're all broken down into sections, which we can see by shrinking down the expansions here. So you can actually jump around if you wanted to get to the surveys report and look at the tank here, tank TO1. We click on that and we're straight down to tank TO1 and the survey results or comments. So you've got a fairly useful menu system there just by using bookmarks or opening the bookmarks up. Okay, to actually produce the report is very simple. Simply click on the icon of the report that you actually want and click on the Create Report button, and a small window will pop up, which I'll bring in screen there. A small window will pop up, and all you've got to do is choose Save As from the list and save the report locally, and do as you will with it. It's available for printing or whatever, so that should be fairly straightforward.